Party God Squad, before I get to that interview, we are taking a real quick break so I can tell you all about Manscaped. Precision engineered grooming tools for, you guessed it, ear balls. Whether you have your own pair of furry family jewels or you just get to give them a squeeze on somebody else from time to time, no balls look or feel better than the ones that use Manscaped. Trust me. And now, just in time for the holidays, you can gift yourself or gift your favorite pair of balls the best buzz in the biz. Just visit Manscaped at manscaped.com. Use promo code Rocky for 20% off your next Manscaped order. That's manscaped.com, manscaped.com, and use promo code Rocky for 20% off your next Manscaped order. Get busy buzzing, boys.
Hey there, Party God Squad. Have you heard of Manscaped? Precision-engineered grooming tools for, you guessed it, your balls. Or your favorite pair of balls. And Manscaped is more than high-quality shaving tools. They have ear and nose trimmers, 2-in-1 conditioners, body wash, chapstick, aluminum-free deodorant, anti-chafing ball deodorant, boxers, disposable shaving mats, and did I mention anti-chafing ball deodorant? What will they think of next? The holidays are quickly approaching, and Manscaped is the gift to give and receive. So drop hints. Right now, if you head over to manscaped.com and use promo code Rocky, you get 20% off your next order. That's manscaped.com, manscaped.com. Promo code Rocky for 20% off plus free shipping. Get busy buzzing, boys. A lot of people believe Halloween is just for kids, that grown-ups shouldn't dress up. I hard disagree. Before I get into why, I will say, people 18 and over, if you aren't escorting a child, then there is no reason for you to be trick-or-treating. You're not a baby. And you're not in charge of a baby. So go to a party, throw a party, or watch a scary movie. But don't be out trick-or-treating with other grown adults. Come on now. Just buy the candy half off the next day. And then stay in the house. However, dressing up as an adult is a different story. That's the part of Halloween that should give adults the most joy. If you're the type of person who sticks your nose up at dressing up, you're probably the type of person who's denied masturbating before. When we all know, you don't sleep with a pillow between your legs at night because you have back problems. You sleep with a pillow between your legs at night because you fuck it for pleasure alone. Okay? The first reason why it's okay to dress up as an adult is because maybe you just need a little release. You need to say, I'm not me for the night, and I'm gonna embrace it. People spend a lot of time imagining not having to show up somewhere as themselves. Maybe Halloween is just what the doctor ordered. No one's gonna ask you, how's the stress of being a paramedic when you're over here dressed like Bad Bunny, or better yet, Bugs Bunny? Nah. They're gonna say, what's up, doc, like they're the first person at this party to say, what's up, doc, to you. And that's the kind of original disassociation you're craving. A second reason why it's great to dress up for Halloween is for our friends whose puns fall flat every other day of their lives. On this day, you will not only be seen for your niche wit, but heard. I'm not going to sit here and list a bunch of pun costumes. That's your job, you genius. Show the world how clever you can be, and this time, they're the asshole if they don't get it. October 31st is the ultimate purge for puns. A third reason why adults should dress up for Halloween is because sometimes it's real sexy. America is such a uniformed place, everyone in their box. Follow the next trend. I'm wearing my sports logo country. Is that a witty t-shirt? I also have a witty t-shirt. We have t-shirt shops around the country, and they all say the same things. Remember that phase where everyone wore a Jesus is my homeboy t-shirt? Yeah, you do. You probably owned one. We're always mimicking each other. Halloween, you don't have to. You can be whatever you like for one night only. Or if it's the year 2022, 5 nights in a row apparently. Conforming is for the birds. Literally. Look over there. There's 5 people wearing matching sexy pigeon head costumes made of paper mache and that other material I'm not going to look up, but it's at the tip of my tongue and it will come to me at some point next week. The point is, this is the one day of the year where everyone who celebrates can tap into their lusty little mink side. And you might like what you see. And lastly, it's okay to wear a costume because pretending is fun. Kids do it all the time until we tell them they have to stop. And so do actors. And so do LARPers. There's a reason people pretend. So don't shit on some people for it and then go watch Captain America. Just be cool and let people live. Be safe out there, you ghouls.
Duh.
Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, happy Halloween. Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope it was filled with both tricks and treats, because both can be fun. My week was interesting. Not bad, just interesting, mainly because I had to go under the knife. Well, not exactly under the knife. There were no knives. I did have to have an endoscopy, though, where they stick a sweet little camera down your throat. I debated talking about this because, my insides. But there's literally no shame in having to go to the doctor. In fact, if something is bothering you and you're able to, you should go to the doctor too. And just a reminder to get out there and vote, because some people can't go to the doctor because it's too expensive, which is scarier than 1,000 Halloweens. I cannot recommend my gastroenterologist enough. If you're in the 5 boroughs, get your sweet little belly checked out at Tri-Borough GI, baby. Dr. Mikanyansky, shout out to him. Was it an absolute vibe in the office at 8 a.m.? Music bumping at the perfect volume while I was getting put under? Yeah, I was relaxed as a bitch. I came out crip walking and I started promoting my podcast immediately as soon as I got off the table. I was high on that chronic anesthesia, baby. And my mom's one job in escorting me home was to film David at the Dentist Part 2, Rocky Gets Scopped. And instead, she barely held her cell phone steady and took a video of her pointer finger. So another week of me not going viral. See you at that follow-up, doc. Kanye West. Ooh, child. It doesn't matter the nostalgia. It doesn't matter the lyrics. We're skipping Kanye. Kanye can't make the playlist no mo, honey. Streams are money. Money is power. And power, as we're watching, can be dangerously misused. If you're out here on the Kanye train right now, you really got to evaluate a bunch of shit. And if you've got a craving for well-written hip-hop lyrics, that must be satiated immediately. I can relate. Let me offer up some alternatives for your rap diet. Jay-Z, a living legend, and I know you haven't listened to all his albums. Kendrick Lamar, I know you haven't listened to all his lyrics. Megan Thee Stallion, now that's a witty bitch. Lady London, perhaps you've never heard of her. Look her up, listen to her, and thank me later. And Taylor Swift, not a rapper, but she has a fantastic new album out now where she talks about revenge and sexy babies, and I say it's the love child of 1989 and Reputation that we didn't know we needed. I dressed up for a Halloween party this weekend. I was Nadja from What We Do in the Shadows, which either meant no one knew what I was at all, or if people knew, they knew immediately. And when people knew, I did feel good, like it was something only we were in on. Otherwise, I think people just thought I was a vampire. I bought these sick vampire teeth online. They came with this glue that molds to your teeth. The best way to describe it is sturdy and loose at the exact same time. Sturdy for talking, loose for eating or sucking blood. They'll fall off before they pop next. I was way more into them than I could have predicted. One time my dad told me a story, dead ass, about how vampires are real, and he was accidentally at this party in Manhattan in a basement full of vampires, teeth and everything. So he bounced before they could break skin, and he never looked back. And after 5 hours with these canines in, I'm like, yo, Dad, where was that party at, though? Is vampire culture my culture? 'Cause I'm in. I'm team vamp, bro. Let's get some red lighting and dance to Monster Mash or whatever. I'm trying to live forever. My one friend told me, and he was genuinely looking out for me, and that's why we love him, but he told me, you know, Rock, and normally you don't sound like this, but I'm noticing, and I think those vampire teeth are giving you a lisp. The funny thing was, I had been with myself all night, and I had also heard the lisp, so this was not news to me. And I think it's only in the spirit of Halloween that I put these bad boys on and talk with them for the rest of the rundown, so you can hear for yourself. And that brings us to Rocky's highest thoughts, my most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, if dogs stopped licking each other's assholes, do you think they would live longer, or are they living longer because they lick each other's assholes? Think about it. Number 2, it's too bad they can't invent a pill that's the equivalent of one drink with the exact same effects mentally, but not physically. Number 3, do you think the guards at Buckingham Palace spend their free time watching every hilarious piece of content ever so nothing shocks them at their job? And number 4, I bet caterpillars wish they didn't go full butterfly. I bet they wish that they could still enjoy a day of leisure. My guest this week is comedian Naomi Karavani. Her wild word was train, so hop on board before we leave the station. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to support the show with your wallet, you can join my Patreon for $2 or $5 a month. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written and who will write a review on Apple Podcasts as soon as this episode is over. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Naomi Karavani. Naomi, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I'm very excited to have you. I think you're absolutely hysterical, and you're a New York comedian. So I believe you're in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, I am in Brooklyn. I started comedy in New York, and then I moved to DC for about 6 years, and now I'm back. So
yeah. Was it a reason you moved back to New York, or were you kind of like, I'm out of the DC scene, it's time for me to go back home?
Well, I had a job in DC and it just ended, so I came back to New York. I was set free and came back to New York.
Well, that's the good thing about New York. You can always come back.
Yeah, it's always going to be here.
Even though they're making the rent like outrageous. It's almost like they don't want people to live here.
Yeah, I think that might be a good strategy to get people to leave. And I do hope some people leave and the rents go back down.
I feel like with everything that's been going on, I just feel like I was talking to somebody about this last night, and this is just like, I don't know, the way my brain was working, but obviously we have to take the subway all the time and get to where we're going. And I just feel like there's ways to keep New York safer, and they're not doing it because I feel like they're trying to push people out. They're like, oh, if people are scared, they'll just leave.
Yeah. Oh, you think the gunshots are planned?
I think I don't think that the stuff that's happening is planned. I think that the prevention of fixing it is kind of not. You know what I mean? I used to travel with like $350 in my bra back to Bushwick at 3:00 in the morning when I was 23. So now I'm like, ooh, it's 11. Maybe I should Uber.
Yeah. Definitely. But nothing happened to those $350 in that time.
No, it stayed safe in my bra. I used to even have this guy outside my train station. You know, the little black cars that used to be more readily available outside the trains?
Oh, yeah. The gypsy cabs.
Yeah, the gypsy cabs. There was this guy. It was a 7-minute walk to my apartment, but it was really late and I would have a lot of money on me. And he would only charge me $5 when the other cabs would charge me like 7 to 10.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed the gypsy cabs, but that was a good time.
That was a good time. You kind of just could negotiate. But for now, it's Ubers, and we got to hop on the train a lot more.
Oh, yeah, and train.
And train. So Naomi's wild word was train. So Naomi, take us into your wild night story train.
Well, actually, yeah. The story really starts at an airport
Mm-hmm.
in Paris. I was living in Paris in, let's go back to 2010. Oh no, 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living with a friend in Paris. I was going to grad school and she was working on films,
Yeah.
or I mean, we were both like in our early 20s. She was like quote unquote working on films as a director.
Yeah.
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 Um
Doing a
I
lot
mean
of research.
yeah,
Yeah.
doing a lot of research. We were partying a lot.
Yeah.
And she but she had this great apartment in the 11th arrondissement in near the Bastille, and like this cheap apartment that she knew somebody who was renting it out to her, and we just had this wonderful life in Paris.
Uh-huh.
And she decided she wanted to make a mob movie, and she set up an appointment with this guy. She managed to she was the ultimate scam artist, and she
Okay.
managed to convince these people, this Italian actor, that she was like a big time movie producer, and I was like her business executive. But I was
Mm-hmm.
like just going to grad school. I was like studying 15th century migration patterns in the Atlantic, and I'm like, sure, I'll be a
I'll be your
exec
yeah.
film executive, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And she and so this guy she wanted to meet up with in Italy was he just appeared in this film Gomorrah, which
Mm-hmm.
was a it was an Italian movie that was based on like Napolitan crime families,
Mm-hmm.
and they used a lot of like gangsters in the movie. So this guy was like gangster turned actor.
Oh, so you're saying in the movie there were real gangsters that they cast?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
name,
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
that sounds really familiar too, Gamora.
Yeah, it was like a popular movie. She saw it and she like
Yeah,
fell in love with this one actor, and she managed to get his contact information. I don't know how.
yeah.
And she told him, I'm gonna make a movie. It was his like first big role
Mm-hmm.
on screen, and she's like, I'm gonna get him now.
Yeah.
And so she arranges to meet with him in Rome with her business executive, me,
Mm-hmm.
and we go to the airport, um, and we're waiting online to check in, and we're like laughing, having a great time. We
Mm-hmm.
get to the counter, it's too late to check in. We're too late for the flight, and in Paris going
Yeah.
to Rome. So we go to the EasyJet desk, and we're like, okay, so when is the next flight we can take? We're such idiots for just like talking, and we're just chatting,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And then and then the guy's like, too bad, you missed your flight. We can get you on another flight tomorrow. And that would be like too late for to meet the guy in Rome.
Yeah.
So my friend kind of loses it and starts having this like temper tantrum in the middle of the airport, and she's like, this motherfucker says that we can't take a flight tonight when there's
Mm-hmm.
clearly another flight tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy at the counter is like, she says I fuck my mother. You know what? You never ride EasyJet again.
Oh
and
my
then
God. Well,
and
because
then
in
I'm like,
America, people will flip out on anybody to get, and then next thing you know, it's, oh, whatever you want, we got you, we upgraded you, and here's free champagne. But I feel like overseas, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna deal with your fucking bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
The guy was just like, fuck off. But I was just like trying to ease the tensions, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, in English we say motherfucker all the time. Like motherfucker this, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you get mad, you say motherfucker.
Right.
She wasn't directed at you.
Yeah.
She didn't mean you fuck your mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we like finally talked him down, but then in that span of time, like we missed the next flight.
Mhm.
And then he's like, okay, yeah, the next flight is tomorrow. So we decide we're gonna run to the train station. And we both were like kind of broke. Like I
Mhm.
was, running out of money. I was
Mhm.
just like, living on a shoestring, like eating €2 student lunches and
Yeah.
and
Just trying to survive, yeah.
just trying to survive. And we finally get to the train station. My friend Nadia, the filmmaker,
Mhm.
goes to her ATM, can't get any money out, and I get a ticket, and she's like, "Can I borrow some money?" And I'm like, no."
Absolutely not.
And I'm like, "All right." Then she's like, "You know what? We'll just figure it out. We're gonna go on the train and figure it out." And so we get on the train to Rome. It's like an overnight train. It's like it looks like it's from the 1950s. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful train. Like it
Yeah.
looks vintage and all
Gorgeous.
like the train staff, they're all like dressed up and like yeah, it looks like out of a movie from the 50s.
Yeah.
And we get into the compartment and she's like uh and then she just climbs up into the luggage area on top of all the beds. There's a luggage area,
Uh-huh.
and she just hides up there. And yeah, I have my ticket, and we just cover her with jackets and bags and stuff.
Were there other
And
people on the train compartment that saw you, or she was able to do it without being seen?
yeah, it was a pretty empty train. I
Okay.
guess like overnight train travel
Yeah.
was not that popular
Mhm.
around
Everyone
that
made their
time.
flights, yeah.
Yeah, everyone made their flights. Nobody wanted to go on a 15-hour ride.
Right.
Like, uh, so she stays up there, and I'm like, this is never gonna work. Oh my God. And then the staff on the train is Italian.
Mhm.
So we finally take off, or the train starts, however trains take off.
Yeah.
And they're like, welcome aboard the
Mhm.
train to Rome. And then 5 minutes later, somebody knocks on my door
Mhm.
just to like chat because there's nobody on the train, and I'm a
Yeah.
woman assumingly by myself. And so every 5 minutes, a different staff member knocks on my door, and they're like, "So you're American, huh?" And she's like, "Get rid of them."
Yeah, yeah.
And uh yeah, so finally, like a younger train staff member, what do you call them? Not conductors. There can only be one conductor.
Um,
Um,
I guess I guess I guess I've always said either conductor or person who works on the train, or they work on the
yeah,
train. Yeah, the guy on the train.
a train
Staff on
staff guy.
train staff guy. We need whoever knows that, whatever that word is, let us know.
Yeah, so they're all flirting with me, and I'm just like trying to, end these conversations and shut the door. And then there's a younger guy, and
Mhm.
he comes around and he's like, "Oh, do you want to drink some wine?" And I'm like, "Why the hell not?" And
Yeah.
he takes me to another compartment and opens a bottle of wine, and he's like, we're gonna stop in Avignon, I think, somewhere
Mhm.
in the mountains, and you're gonna get another person in your compartment." And I'm like, "Oh fuck." And
So
he's
this was
like,
not a staff employee. This was another person riding the train.
"No, this was an employee.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's just like
Oh, okay.
employees and me,
And you're just chilling,
basically." And
drinking with them. Okay.
I'm like, "This train is empty. Why would they put two people in the same compartment? I don't
Right,
know why."
right, right.
But that's the way it was done. So, but
Yeah.
he's like, "I can give you another compartment by yourself. You can have this compartment we're drinking in." And I'm like, okay, that's great. So I go back to my compartment, tell my friend Nadia, hey, somebody's going to be in here and they're going to figure out that you're here. So she climbs down from the luggage and goes to the bathroom and hangs out in the bathroom for a couple hours. And I go back to the guy, we're sitting drinking wine, laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting hammered.
Yeah.
And like the train is going through the mountains, and my friend is like, it's like the middle of winter too.
Mm-hmm.
So my friend is like freezing in
Mm-hmm.
this bathroom at the end of the train. And she's like shivering. She's like, get rid of this fucking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm having such a great time. This
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And then and then I go back to the compartment, and finally like makes a move and like kisses me on the lips.
Mm.
And he's like, are you into this? And I'm like, no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, okay. And he just kind of says, okay, you can have this compartment anyways, even though I had big plans for this. But
Yeah.
and I get my friend out of the bathroom, sneak her into the compartment. We get to Rome, totally unscathed, get off the train, nothing happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally get to Rome after all of that, and we meet up with the actor like for a lunch, and he has like fresh tattoos
Mm-hmm.
and that are covered in like plastic wrap, and he has like they're all like they look like stereotypical mob guys,
Yeah.
and they're wearing like tracksuits and, and stuff, um and they were pretty skeptical of her
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
lunch,
They
and
could
it
smell
was
the
just
bullshit. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I'm just like there trying to look official.
Mm-hmm.
Our translator was like also a grad student, not very convincing.
Mm-hmm.
Not very convincing film big shot. So um she didn't end up getting the actor for the movie, but she did end up making the movie a couple years later.
Wow.
So, but we did get to meet with a famous Italian actor
That's so
who,
cool.
yeah,
How did the meeting end? Because I imagine it was over a dinner?
it was over a lunch
A
in
lunch.
Rome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they were just like, okay, so our people will reach out to your people.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of left it like that.
Did
But
she
it
have
was
to take
like,
care of the dinner? Like, did she have to pay for it?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't, you know what? That's a detail I don't remember because
Yeah.
I don't think she had the money to pay for it if
Yeah,
she didn't
yeah,
have money for the train
exactly. Um,
ticket.
I can't believe she made it out of the train without getting, first of all, kudos to her for having the endurance to A, come up with the idea, B, hide behind the luggage. I mean, there's so much because 15 hours, you got to eat like twice. I mean, I got to eat at least like two or three times in 15
Yeah.
hours. You know what
I
I
don't know
mean?
what we did. Yeah, we were just like running on adrenaline really.
Hmm.
So yeah, we weren't worried about that. But yeah.
I also want to say another kudos to you to have I mean, I know when you're broke, to have the wherewithal to be like, to say, I can't pay for your train ticket.
Yeah.
We're not going. If I mean, I'm gonna take this train. I just bought the ticket, or we're gonna have to resell it. But I cannot pay for your train ticket because I don't know if I was broke in my early 20s, if I would be able to say that. I would probably say something like, oh, okay, we'll make it work. Now I would, but
Yeah.
then I feel like I would be too nervous to say that.
Yeah, no, I think I had lent her the maximum amount of money I was
Mm,
willing to lend
yeah,
her.
you're like,
And
we got to cap it here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went
But
to school on Long Island, and so I would take the train into the city. And one time I was pretty broke, like how you were when you were in grad school. I was like, I'm living off like my school card lunch and making it work. And I had to take a voice lesson, and I think I had probably $70 to my name, and the voice lesson was 65 or something like that, and I wasn't getting paid till the next day, and it was just like snowball of not having money. And so I drove my car to the train station. I park it, and I didn't realize the parking hours. I was supposed to buy a little ticket, and I didn't. I was like, it'll be okay. There's only 15 minutes left. Let me just park the car. And then I couldn't afford a ticket there and back. I could only afford a ticket on the LIRR coming home because it was like rush hour or something. And so I hid in the bathroom for 45 minutes. Someone was like banging on the bathroom door, and I just wouldn't move. I was like a Will Smith and Jaden Smith in that. Did you ever see The Pursuit of Happiness?
No,
There's a
no.
scene where he is hiding in a bathroom and in a train station, and they're just like banging on the door, and he's just covering Jaden's ears. And I was like, literally, that was me. I was like, please, no one find out I'm in the bathroom. So I make it, I do the voice lesson, and then I get back on the train, and then I have a $60 ticket on my car. So it was just
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? You can never predict those things, especially when you're broke. You're like, oh, the worst things are going to happen. Like, I'm going to have to spend money on the most unnecessary things.
Yeah. So you had to pay for a car after.
I had to pay my ticket on my car.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I ended up, if I had just like not been, I felt like karmically I got the ticket because I didn't pay for the train ticket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
It felt
you.
like it was like if I had just gotten on the train. So, and the level of anxiety I felt hiding in that bathroom for 45 minutes, I could never do for 15 hours.
Uh, oh yeah. I mean, I couldn't do it either, but she was like a master at. She was like unafraid of consequences.
Yeah,
Like
you'd have to be.
we got in so much trouble
You and her.
along the way. Yeah, yeah,
Uh, are you still friends?
yeah.
Oh, good.
Indeed. Yeah, good memories.
Yeah.
But now she's not as broke.
Yeah.
And um yeah, she's really making movies and stuff.
Oh,
So
that's awesome. Yeah, you love to see it. You're like, oh, if you were hustling and trying to make moves back
yeah.
then, and then now you're doing your thing. That's awesome. That's really cool. And now you're hustling and doing your thing in the city as well.
Yes. So every Friday, Bitches Brew happens at Halyard's Bar in
Hmm.
Gowanus slash Park Slope.
Hmm.
A lot of people are unaware that Gowanus is a neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's on 3rd Ave and 6th Street. Yeah,
Hmm.
every Friday. And then what else do I have going on? Then, I think we're gonna have a monthly at the stand
Oh, beautiful.
starting January, probably under the same name, Bitches Brew, but
Hmm.
I'll be posting about it. And yeah.
Are you doing anything in the comedy festival?
No, I'm actually gonna be going back to DC that weekend,
Hmm.
and I'll be featuring for Dusty Slay
Oh my
at the
God.
Improv.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave and make some money
You
instead of
got
the
to do it.
festival.
You got to do it. If the money's out there, you never know whose train ticket you're gonna have to pay for.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, Naomi, why don't you give everybody your social media?
Well, it's not very complicated. It's at Naomi Karavani on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And yeah, my name is spelled with a K, Karavani. That's all you need to know. And Bitches Brew Comedy on Instagram. Follow us. We have great lineups every week.
All right, you heard it here first, everybody. Well, Naomi, thank you so, so much for doing the podcast. This was so fun, and you and I will talk soon, all right?
Okay, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Bye.